We cashed on last weekend's Locky Two-Step and Locky Trinity for UFC Vegas 109 as Jocelyn Edwards and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez do the damn thing in their fights and help us cash our Locky Two-Step at minus 138. And then Gene Matsumoto goes out there and defeats Miles Johns in a very close fight, but we still get over the line there, and that cashes at plus 130. For this week, I do have a juicier Locky Two-Step and Locky Trinity for you guys, which was originally involving Brian Battle, but after his tumultuous weight cut this morning, that fight's been canceled, so I'm going to be putting together a new one. But just so you guys know, earlier this week I locked in Brian Battle alongside Aaron Pico, and that was able to give us plus 150. So obviously Aaron Pico is a part of this new Locky Two-Step. I believe a lot of people are mainly focusing on the wrong things in this matchup against Lerone Murphy, which is why everybody's jumping on Lerone Murphy, or at least the public makes it seem that way. But it seems like the sharps are all over Aaron Pico in this spot, and that's why the line has climbed as much as it has. We have seen some Murphy love come in over the last 24 hours, but it's starting to bounce back to that minus 175, minus 180 Aaron Pico range, and I have to agree with it. He's the better striker in terms of commanding the cage, forward pressure, and landing big shots. So obviously, optically speaking, that won't look that great for Lerone Murphy should the fight hit the scorecards. And then mix in Aaron Pico's high-level wrestling background. I surely think he can mix it up enough and keep Murphy in a defensive position, and hoping that Murphy will have to try to land a big shot on the counter to try to have any success in this fight. So I really like Pico, hence I'm going to put him as the first step in the Locky Two-Step. The second step, which was actually our Locky Trinity initially earlier this week, was going to be Michael Page. And it is Michael Page in the Locky Two-Step here as he takes on Jared Cannonier, former Bellator fighter, who has had some decent success in the UFC, is 2-1, handing Charles Magomedov the only loss of his professional career, going out there and styling on Kevin Holland. He struggled against Ian Machado Gary because Machado Gary had a good enough all-around game there to really take that fight into the grappling realm. But I don't think that Cannonier can do that here successfully, and ultimately he'll get frustrated by the constant movement, elusiveness, and counter-striking of Michael Page, which will eventually lead to Page winning this fight either by knockout or on the scorecards. But I think him and Pico end up cashing and helping us cash this Locky Two-Step, which earlier in the week, it was Battle and Pico at plus 150, but now it's going to be Page and Pico at plus 148. By the way, I apologize if I sound a little bit clogged up. I do have a little bit of a cold. My nose is a little bit stuffy, so if you see a lot of cuts in these segments, I apologize. And if my voice just doesn't sound that great, it is what it is. It's Friday. Last few pieces of content I got to drop for you guys, so I'm going to do it regardless. All right, Locky Trinity now. We're going to go with an underdog here as I feel pretty damn good about it, and it seems like the line is moving in a way to confirm that. And we're going to go with Jakar Close as he goes up against Edson Barboza. Now, earlier this week, Jakar Close was closer to that plus 150 range. Now he finds himself down at plus 115. And I have to agree. I think he is the better overall mixed martial artist here compared to Barboza. And if his durability can hold up, I don't think Barboza is a Joel Alvarez type finisher, nor do I think Close is going to try to engage in a war with him like he did against Benio Dariush. I think we'll see Close just grind him against the cage, drag him to the ground, do what he does best, and win this fight on the scorecards. And I was able to lock that in earlier today at plus 433 for this Locky Trinity. So very juicy there, hoping to cash the ticket, and let's see if we can get it done. All right, I'll be back in a few hours for the UFC 319 prop drop, but also remember there is an LFA and PFL card going down in a few hours here, both of which I've broken down on the YouTube page, but you can also check out the MMA LOT and Patreon page where I've dropped track plays for all those cards. LFA, a little bit light considering the amount of chalk that's on there, but I do have a handful of plays between that and the PFL card as well, so make sure you guys check that out. All right, I'll be back in a couple hours now to drop the prop drop for UFC 319. See you guys then. Peace.